Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. Now for today's video, we're going to be providing an update on Avricore Health. This is one we've covered on the channel previously, and they've had a number of key developments over the last month since we put out that initial video. Now before we get into it, please take a second, hit the like button, you guys. It's a big help to myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. And let me know in the comment section below if you've picked up shares of Avricore Health, how you think they stack up to some of the other players in this space, and what your thoughts are moving forward. Now with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we're going to be providing a follow-up on Avricore Health Incorporated. This is one we initially covered on the channel about a month ago. Now I've got a 6-month chart pulled up as we're going to talk about Avricore, and you can actually see it at the bottom here, was just awarded one of the top TSX Venture 50 accolades for the year. And if you look at the 6-month graph, you can really see why. So this is a stock that was trading in the 14-cent range back in September of last year. They hit a high in the start of December of about 39 cents. They've pulled back slightly. Now this is as of close on Tuesday, February 21st. They exited the day at 34 cents Canadian. They were up 1 cent or about 3% on the session. So a very high performing stock and company over the last 12 months, especially considering the macroeconomic environment. Now we've got a number of key pieces of news or developments that have come out since our last video. I'm really excited to get into it, but before we do, I just quickly wanted to take a look at the chart for you guys. Now before we get into the recent and exciting developments since our last video, I wanted to quickly jump over to the Avricore corporate website. I'll leave a link in the video description below if you want to go in and take a closer look for yourself and give you guys a quick background on what this company is all about. So their mantra is really surrounding moving pharmacy forward, finding innovative ways specifically related to the point of care healthcare market to help consumers and patients really address their medical needs in real time and find better solutions to the traditional ways of testing, which were time consuming, cumbersome, and in a lot of cases more expensive. So our mission at Avricore is to enrich the lives by making actionable health data and clinical services more accessible for everyone. And the main way in which they're doing this, you guys, is actually through their HealthTab platform, which as you can see here gives real-time indicators to allow patients and healthcare physicians easy access to information, in a lot of cases proactively, that can help identify potential concerns and measure patient results. So you can see things like cholesterol, body mass index, blood pressure. Now if we continue to scroll down, you can see some of the benefits and differentiators of the HealthTab platform. So it's on-site, meaning that it's a specialized point of care testing solution for pharmacy. We saw in our last video, they're already set up with a partnership with Shoppers Drug Mart. There you can see they can test for up to 27 biomarkers on the spot for screening and managing of chronic conditions such as diabetes. And in addition to that, the company also provides options for bacterial and viral testing. The next point here is lab accurate. So although it's on site and it's rapid, it's extremely accurate results here. And by leveraging a secure and cloud-based system for viewing and tracking the results, it really gives patients greater control in managing and tracking their health and allows doctors and physicians to get in there and access the results as well. And then the third point is it's customized. So with the access to real-time de-identified patient data, the HealthTab network provides a new model for gathering real-world evidence, and reports can then be customized to meet the goals of a particular program or trial, while allowing data collected through HealthTab to be easily integrated with other third-party applications through an API, which is also known as an application programming interface. So very customizable and plug and play for a lot of these existing healthcare or pharmaceutical platforms. And that's really a perfect segue to this slide here, which is pulled from their investor presentation talking about this turnkey point of care pharmacy solution, which of course is HealthTab. And you can see how it's all interconnected there, leveraging the cloud to really store that information, the lab accurate testing, the customized health surveys, the de-identified real-time data, which means it can't be linked to any specific patient, so they don't have to worry about confidentiality concerns, those personalized reports, and then the actual terminal itself where the patient can give their consent. So on the right, you can see HealthTab brings the best point-of-care analyzers onto a single, secure, cloud-based network. It gives patients and pharmacists access to actionable data in real time when it matters most. And obviously that's bridging a gap that's really been unmet in the traditional healthcare industry, with a lot of these legacy processes being very timely. They don't give real-time data, and because of the number of people and patients that are unfortunately suffering from some of these conditions, the market is really ripe for a new solution like HealthTab that gives on-the-spot accurate readings in real time that can be actioned in advance and really help prevent a lot of these chronic conditions from transforming or turning into something where they need to seek immediate medical attention. Now, there's really 3 pieces of news that have come out since our last presentation that I wanted to address in today's video, and we'll talk about them in chronological order. So this one came out February 1st, just after our initial coverage dropped on Avricore Health, and it talks about their earnings advisory for the current year 2022 and their 2023 objectives. So the article goes on to say Avricore Health is entering the second year of their multi-year growth plan to bring HealthTab, which is that turnkey solution for point-of-care testing and data management that we just talked about, to more pharmacies across Canada and eventually worldwide. So as part of this effort, the company is pleased to provide insight on the successes of last year and lay out plans for 2023. Now, Hector Bremner, who's the CEO of Avricore Health, goes on to say, last year we set out bold targets, and today we can demonstrate we've been able to achieve them, which again is a huge vote of confidence for anyone who's looking to make an investment in this company. Management is delivering on their commitments. There's no doubt we're poised for significant growth in 2023 and beyond. And I wanted to talk about some of the earnings and the revenue opportunities related to that statement. So in terms of 2022, they really put their foot down on the gas in terms of monetizing HealthTab, where they put it into what they call their revenue phase, successfully piloting and scaling to more than 420 locations throughout Canada by the end of 2022. And that was really due to some key partnerships with Shoppers Drug Mart, which we talked about, and Loblaws, also known as Superstore, and their in-store pharmacies, where they piloted and launched a ton of these HealthTab terminals, and also their equipment or instrument partner, Abbott Labs, which is one of the biggest players in the world. Now, I will note these are unaudited revenues. However, for the year 2022, they're expecting revenues in the neighborhood of just north of $2 million. And HealthTab, which is that official subsidiary, realized a profit of about $420,000, which is an extremely impressive feat, considering this is really the first year that they went into that revenue phase. Now, building on that, they expect to see big growth in 2023 as well. They do put in a caveat that they expect to see a lot of the revenue come in the later half or the back half of the year, which is what they saw in 2022 as well. And they really want to stress that this is focused growth. Now, last video, we talked about the revenue model behind HealthTab. I really like this because it's recurring monthly revenue. So you can see there's over 100,000 pharmacies that they could potentially target in Canada, the United States, and the United Kingdom. They work on a system fee model, so about $250 a month to lease the HealthTab system per location based on a single instrument. So if the pharmacies have more than one unit on location, obviously that rate would increase. And this is designed to be rapidly scaled, again, through that partnership agreement with Abbott that we mentioned a couple of seconds ago. Now, in addition to that, they also generate revenue with each test that's completed, really as a result of the consumable reagents that go into those tests, in the neighborhood of about 30% margin, with the opportunity to drive additional volume and revenue opportunities through customized programs for health insurers, or through what's known as a CRO or a CRO, and stands for Contract Research Organization. Now, what's nice about this model is it's also extremely beneficial for the pharmacies that are installing these units. So you can see, of course, a spectrum of earning opportunities ranging from about $1,000 to $4,000 per month, depending how hard the pharmacists at these locations are pushing the testing and the HealthTab solutions. And where it really gets exciting from an investment standpoint is the growth opportunity or the runway in front of this organization. So as you can see, about 450 locations was the goal for last year. of which we saw they just achieved about 420. Next year, they're targeting about 1,000 locations, which is a combination of Canada and outside markets, which is another huge catalyst for the organization. And following that, they're expecting upwards of about 2,500 new locations each and every year, especially if they're able to forge partnerships with some of these huge pharmacy brands that have thousands of different locations. Now, the other thing I quickly wanted to mention here as we talk about revenue and growth opportunities is from Cedar.com under Avricore Health. If you go into their discussion and comment section, you can see a major catalyst here that happened actually back in January of 2022, where the government of Ontario brought into effect an expanded scope of practice for community pharmacists in the province. So what this means is now very similar to the approach we see here in Alberta. Pharmacies in Ontario have the ability to perform certain point-of-care tests to assist their patients with managing chronic disease. Now, the tests that are approved under this new legislation are all offered by HealthTab's Affineon 2 platform, and Ontario also announced that they're in a second stage of scope modifications, which potentially means more tests that can be conducted through the HealthTab platform, which will begin on January 1st of 2023. So this opens up a huge door. Obviously, Ontario is the most populated province in Canada. We're also seeing significant talks and developments in British Columbia as well. And we're expecting to see some significant scope of practice changes coming into effect in the spring of 2023. So this again opens up big markets for Avricore Health, and as we saw here, gives them the opportunity to expand that network where they're making recurring revenue off each and every installation or each and every unit in each one of these pharmacies. So if we now jump back to our press release, we'll continue to move on, but I thought that was super important to talk about when we mentioned focused growth. The other thing that was important here is they lay out some 2023 objectives. So the expansion of HealthTab with their current partners, which we just talked about, expansion of HealthTab in other pharmacy groups within Canada, international expansion, which I'm super excited about, hiring some additional key positions to support their technical and business development efforts. So that should bring more attention to the story, and that clear and focused goal around revenue growth and profitability for the organization. And they then go on to talk about some of the fast facts related to HealthTab. So the point of care testing market overall, when you talk about TAM or total addressable market, is expected to be $93 billion by 2030. That's in US currency, you guys. So massive opportunity here. Nearly 13.6 million Canadians are expected to be diabetic or pre-diabetic by 2030. So a huge market in terms of dollars and individuals. Over 1 in 3 Americans has pre-diabetes, which represents about 88 million lives or people that could have benefits from this platform in the United States. And in addition to that, we've got an additional 160,000 Canadians aged 20 years or older that are diagnosed with heart disease each year, which again could benefit from this platform. And in terms of the actual target market, which is the pharmacies, there's more than 10,000 in Canada, 88,000 in the US, and nearly 12,000 in the UK. So although the numbers we saw in 2022, 420 installed pharmacies, are super impressive, they're really just scratching the surface of the total addressable market in terms of locations and potential installs. Now, the next article I wanted to mention came out on February 2nd, really piggybacking on that last article, talking about the growth trajectory for 2023. And why this one's important is the CEO, Hector Bremner, which we heard comments from in the last article, actually sat down for an interview with Proactive Studio, which is another YouTube channel. So if you want to hear some comments directly from the CEO, I would definitely encourage you to go take a watch. I'm going to try and have Hector on my channel as well to answer some questions or viewer questions in a little bit more detail, but this definitely gives some good context, and you can really see his passion for this business and this industry through that interview. And then the final piece of news, which I wanted to mention and really give a huge congrats to the leadership team at Avricore Health for achieving, came out on February 21st, and it talks about Avricore making the cut in terms of being one of the 2023 TSX Venture Top 50. So what this is, for those of you who are not familiar, is the TSX Ventures Exchange list of the top performing companies for the year. Again, Hector goes on to say to make the Venture 50 feels great. The whole team is excited to keep delivering on our promise to build the world's largest rapid testing network in pharmacy. Thank you to all our partners and supporters for helping making this dream of success become a reality. So Avricore was actually selected out of over 1,700 businesses that are currently listed on the TSX Venture, and they cite their growth in market cap, share price, and appreciation and volume during the year as major factors for receiving this award. So in summary, it was a super successful breakout year for Avricore Health. They've got high expectations for the upcoming year in terms of installed units, number of pharmacies, and revenue. And as a result of all of that, it really leads us to the final slide here, which talks about some of the projections for 2023. Now, in our last video, we looked at some of the revenue projections. This one has to do with cash flow, which is obviously key or crucial for a lot of these smaller microcap companies. Again, we'll look at the mid-case scenario here, you guys, and they're expecting to have positive cash flow, again, in the mid-case scenario of about $7.5 million for the year 2023, with a high end ranging in excess of 16 million and a low end of 2.9. So again, the focus on revenue and profitability throughout the year, which is really a key thing for a lot of investors to see before they're ready to make the commitment and take the leap in some of these smaller cap companies. Now, for me and my personal strategy is to beat the rush and try and get in and find these gems or these opportunities before the mainstream or retail community gets involved. So again, I would encourage you to do your own due diligence, check out the company website, but this is definitely one you may want to start your research on sooner rather than later, as there's a lot of big catalysts on the horizon for Avricore Health and specifically their HealthTab platform in 2023. Now, I'd be super curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if you're currently holding shares, what you thought about these recent pieces of news that came out, and about that big TSX Venture Top 50 Accolade. If you're still watching the video at this point, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you hit the like button. And if you're not currently subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to do so. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next update.